Hi, I'm Patty Blinderman, and welcome to ADHD Friendly. As a coach, my passion is helping you thrive with ADHD. If you want some information on my membership community, check it out at ADHDfriendly.com. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing all things POM, Personal Owner's Manual. So I'm going to start with a tech win to celebrate. I'll be updating my spending this week. Well, hint, I'm wearing it. And then I'm going to dive into how to start your POM today. So let's get started. All right, so this is episode 180, and every 10th episode is a POM focused episode. So everything I'm going to share today is tied to that, and it's really jumping off from my new book, Creating ADHD-Friendly Personal Owner's Manual. But I'm going to give you exact tips, some really specific things to help you get started if you haven't started yours yet. So I want to get you from thinking about it, intending to do it, into action and starting it. But before we get there, I want to share a quick tech win. I had complete overwhelm last week. I listed all of my tech challenges. I was completely stopped on 4 main tech areas. I'm running a Google ad for the first time. It's like learning a foreign language. It's completely overwhelming, but I'm trying to do what I can. And nothing has happened. I'm spending a lot of money. Nothing is happening. I don't know what is wrong with it. And I can't seem to find out what I need to do to change it, but I keep paying for it. But so that's unsolved. That's still going. And part of the problem with that is the link to join. I'm promoting my membership community, and the link to join it is not syncing. So I think when you go to it, it just opens up to a blank, like there's nothing available to sign up for. So I'm working on that with my membership community platform. And also my book, How to Create an ADHD-Friendly Owner's Manual, wasn't working on Amazon. So my first win is it is now showing up on Amazon as available, not the normal way it's supposed to, but it's there. So I'll take the win. That's it. That's my only one. The other challenge was my digital version of the Personal Owner's Manual isn't able to be sold on Amazon. So I was trying to set it up on my website. If you go to my website, Shop ADHD Friendly, you'll see it there. I'm hoping by the time this comes out, I'll have solved it, and you can buy the digital book if you don't want the physical printed book. But I'm still working on that. But my celebration and all of that is I just plugging away at not getting overwhelmed, one thing at a time. And I did get, after more than 2 weeks, the Amazon listing. Again, it's not perfect, but it is showing up. So something is more than nothing. That's my celebration. What I purchased this week, I've been sharing how my lovely local knit shop is closing, and it's really got me down. But I've been helping, just like volunteering to help a little bit at the shop where I can. I don't know enough to really be any real support, but I've been going in on weekends trying to help where I can. And they started selling the shop samples, which I mentioned last week. And this shop sample is one that I've just loved, and it was still available when I went back, and I decided if it was still available, it was a sign that it was meant for me. And I just love the colors. I love everything about it. It's got a hood. I'm not really a hood person, but it's such a minimal, like it just doesn't. And the color, you guys know I love yellow, I love blue, like it just makes me happy wearing it. So it was $150, but honestly, the yarn by itself would have cost me $100, and it's made so beautifully. I can't say enough about it. I love it so much. So I don't regret that at all. I'm going to wear it and always think of Betsy in the yarn shop whenever I do. And it's just going to be one of those, when I think of enclothed cognition, which is that, how our clothes can make us feel a certain way, this is always going to make me feel cozy and just have positive feelings tied to it. So that's what I purchased this week. All right, so now on to my tip for this week. It is to create your personal owner's manual. And the only way to do that in a way that works for our brain is to make it ADHD friendly. And by that, I mean, customize it, make it work for you. So I want you to start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. To expect yourself to go from I don't have anything to, I'm going to gather everything I've ever found works for me and put it all together, and I'm going to lay it all out. And, it's overwhelming. Just start with one thing so that you can do what you can from where you are and start using it, and just notice what you get from trying it out. So one of my favorite things that I love to use is a reward menu, or as I like to call it, a treat yourself menu. I have this available in my membership as well as in my personal owner's manual book, but I tweak it all the time. So this is one I made for a group I ran last year, and I love the picture so much, I replaced my other one with this. And I have categories. I like categories. I like a menu. A lot of my tools are built in menu format because it's very visual. So I have categories like 5 minutes or less. So these are things I can do if I don't have a lot of time, like make my bed, have a cup of coffee, look at my photo album, things that cost money, ways to treat myself outside, ways to treat myself with others, ways to relax. So these are my categories. My categories, some of them might interest you, but you're going to have specific ones to you, or you'll have specific things within the categories that resonate for you as rewarding and incentivizing. So if I'm trying to start something that I really don't want to do, or I'm just feeling really low energy for, this is one of my go-to tools. I look at it and see, is there something I can build in here to reward myself with for doing the thing I don't want to do, even if it's just moving forward on it a little bit beyond where I am. So I'm not expecting myself maybe to do the whole thing, but to take a step forward and reward myself in some way for starting. So a reward menu is one of my favorite starter tools for making your personal owner's manual. So that's my tip. Start with one thing, capture some details in it, keep it visible where you can find it and use it, and notice how it works for you. That's what's going to make it custom. That's what you're going to do to tweak it and keep making it work better and better for you over time. All right, now for my product of the week. And it is my new book, Create a ADHD-Friendly Personal Owner's Manual, a POM. This has over 25 tools inside. It's laid out just so beautifully. My designer, Erica, just did such a beautiful job. So there are 7 chapters in this book that are categorized so you can find the tools within each one. And then they're color coded so you can see which section they're in. And each tool, I always like to share an example. So each tool has the blank example, and then it has a filled in example so you can see how it could be used. Again, even in this example, so this is just an executive function skills little tool. You might rate, instead of plus or minus, you might rate it by a number, give yourself a number score. It's all, and in every single tool, I have a description of the tool, and I have a way to help you to customize it. So there, at the bottom of each tool, there's a little section called Make It Yours. So I have some examples just to help as a jumping off point to think about, okay, so this is what I use it for. This is how I used it. This is the example of how either I or a client used it. What might you do to customize it for yourself? So I give you everything to help you get started, but I want you to take it and make it yours. That's the only way it's going to work for you. So this is the tool for the week. You can buy this on my website for $29.95. You can also get it on Amazon, actually it's $29.99. I'm sorry, 99, not 95. You can get it at Barnes & Noble. It's print on demand. So you order it. It takes a few days to get it shipped because they're printing it as you order it. And it's just one of my favorite things. Okay. So now on to the main topic, which is just to create your personal owner's manual today. It is a game changer when we have a manual of tools that are customized to how we get things going, what works for us. So I shared the Treat Yourself menu, another menu that's very similar in design, but again, I'm very visual. So I like things that help me to see easily what I can do, is the ICNUP, ICNUP strategies. This is from Dr. William Dotson, who says that if you use the ICNUP acronym, it is a way to get your brain engaged, to get activated. So it stands for I is for interest, C is for challenge, N is for new or novel, U is for urgency, and P is for passion. Sometimes we can use it, but not always. So you see, even like in my passion, there wasn't an example for all of them that I could tie passion to. But I have the task here on the left. So I'm going to use this top one as my example, empty the dishwasher, not a more brain numbing task that I have to do every day. I absolutely hate it. So to create interest, I might empty it in a different order than I normally empty it. So maybe from bottom to top, or top to bottom, or back to front, or front to back, or whatever, but just changing it up. To bring in the challenge, the C one, I like to race the clock. I like to turn on the radio and see if I can finish before the end of the song, or I set a timer and see if I can finish before the timer goes off. I can empty the dishwasher in about 90 seconds. So I like to time myself. Or I'll listen to something new, like an audiobook, or I'll put the TV on in the background, or I'll put music on, something that gets my head out of focusing on the thing I don't want to do when I don't really need to focus on it. It's not going to help me get started. Or I create urgency by racing a kid. I always love to, the trash often needs to go out at the same time. I'm like, why don't you take the trash out? I'll get started on the dishwasher. We see who finishes first. I don't care who finishes first. It's getting it into that urgency where now I'm racing and I'm not thinking about the boring task of emptying the dishwasher. So this is my ICNUP strategy sheet that I can go to if I'm having a hard time getting started on some of the most common things. But even if the thing I'm trying to do isn't listed over here, it gives me a nice array of choices to try to tie in, to easily connect to a strategy that can help me go from, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that, to getting it done. All right, last example I want to share. In my personal owner's manual book, I have a tool in here that lets you figure out what your tolerations are and identify ways to break out of. So I always say tolerations are things that drain our energy. So there's a little flow chart here where you list what you're tolerating, and it takes you across different things that you can do, from delegating it to somebody else, or assigning a due date to it, doing it, all these different things that help you can troubleshoot it and get started. I love checklists, but I also love a flow chart. So for me, a flow chart, so from that checklist, I created a flow chart. I love a flow chart. It just helps me to process the information without draining my mental energy. So I might start with a can I do it? So let's say I need to fix my technology problem that I'm having. Can I do it? If the answer is yes, then I'm just going to do it. If the answer is no, can I delete it? Meaning, can I get rid of it? Is it something that has to be done for my technology problem? Yeah, it does. So if it's yes, or if it's yes, I can delete it, then cross it off. If I can't do it, then, or I can't delete it, I go down to, can I delegate it? Can I give it to somebody else? This is actually where I am. I'm moving this to my web designer. So the question is, if I can delegate it, yes, to who? So it reminds me, well, yeah, but who am I going to give it to? So I have a next step. But if I wasn't able to delegate it, my next question is, can I divide it? Meaning maybe it's too big of a process and I need to break it into steps. So it might be, I always use my garage for an example. Maybe I have on my list, organize the garage. That might be way too big. So it might be just walk around with the trash bag and throw out any trash might be the first step, not expect myself to do all of it. So dividing it into smaller pieces. So there's an example of chunk it down. Maybe assigning a due date to it would work. If yes, when? And if it doesn't work, do I just deal with it? Maybe there's nothing I can do with it. It's just something that I have to tolerate. If that's the case, what would I need to help me tolerate it with a little bit less energy needing to do that? So that's just an example of taking a tool that's in my Create an ADHD-Friendly Personal Owner's Manual book and re-envisioning it, taking it as a jumping off point and making it really individualized so that it's customized to work for your brain. If the visual layout doesn't work, if the colors don't work, if the space, the way it's, giving you areas to write in or capture your thoughts isn't working in the way that you would need it to work, absolutely take it and make it yours. That's how we thrive with our brain, not pushing against things, but leaning into what we know works for us. All right, on to the book for this week. No surprise, guys, this is going to be a really short episode. Everything is around Create Your Personal Owner's Manual. If you are interested in doing this, but really need more support to get into it, I invite you to take to join my membership at ADHD-friendly.com. $95 a month gets you all of the tools that I have in the membership, all the live events, and you can go in and participate in the on-demand personal owner's manual course, where I walk through a lot of the tools that are in the book so you can see how I use them and learn a lot of the details about how different ones were created and how they can support your brain. So that's the book for this week. And the quote that I'm going to share for this week is, if you've ever felt like you needed a manual to help navigate your life, a POM is just that. An empowering tool that embraces your strengths to overcome your challenges. That's from me. That's it for this week. Until next time, tally ho.